Hi, friends. Hey, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'm not a there. I'm just okay. Can you guys hear me? Yay. Okay. Hi, I'm Kelly McClure, and welcome to our show, Mastering the Charmed Life. I truly believe you can live a charmed life, which means a life of magic and possibility and joy and freedom and all the things you want, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what's going on in yourself. So hi, Denise. Hi, Veronica. Those of you who are watching me through a different venue like YouTube or Roku, just know that I'm also on Facebook Live. And I do have a lot of followers on Facebook Live that are logging on, and they'll ask questions and make comments that I might look at and refer to. And if you would like to make comments, you can go on my Facebook Live feed as well. It's under a different name. It's under Psychic Medium Kelly McClure. But that's not what this venue is about. This venue is about living the charmed life. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And if you've been following my show over the last couple of weeks, then you know that what I'm working on is getting back to the space where I'm able and executing living a charmed life in the face of a lot of challenges, a lot of depression, a lot of things that are going on, which I know you guys are experiencing as well. And that's why I wanted to do it with you. So hi, Noel. Hi, Rick. Nice to see you guys. Just know that I'm not doing readings tonight as a psychic. I will be doing readings coming up this week on a Facebook Live video. So you can join that. I think that's on Thursday night. And Thursday evening, we'll be doing Facebook Live video where you can join and possibly get readings and certainly watch everybody else's readings. But tonight's not necessarily about that. Tonight is about really come on, you guys. I know that everybody is struggling with this COVID thing, struggling with a lot of depression about maybe some things you've experienced, whether you have experienced losing a home in the fire, knowing somebody that has, having loved ones or friends who've lost everything. There's turmoil going on in every state because of the weather and the fires. There's politically everybody being very confused and very scared about what's coming up. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, it's scary. There's personal turmoil and conflict going on. People are losing their jobs. People are being evicted. People are being unable to support themselves and their families. There's a lot of people being sick and losing loved ones in COVID. So if you're feeling depression, this is the time. I get it. I have been feeling depression for the last several years. We've been working very hard on coming up out of it. And that's kind of why I want to share my path with you, because I feel like with you, I can be real. And I want you to know that I'm being real. And I want you to know that in this television show, in this broadcast, we're going to be having a whole lot of really cool stuff coming up. And as we ink our way out of the depression and the heaviness of it all together, it's going to be amazing. So this tonight, our topic is don't give up. And no matter what's going on and what's keeping you where you're at, if you don't give up, you're going to get there. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I've been working really hard on getting out of depression. Every day I do my journaling, my prayer work, my meditation. I call people for help. I've done the things that I've recommended. I've taken responsibility. I've asked for help. I've worked every single day on taking baby steps towards wellness. And it's like pulling teeth. It's like putting one grain of sand on the mountaintop every day. And I wanted to give up. I did. I wanted to give up. And I know that a lot of people do. I know that you work very, very hard every day, not only just to get through the day, but to maybe make some progress, maybe get some stuff done. And every day is a challenge. And so I wanted to do this because I want you to know that I've been through that. I've been going through it. And I've been working really, really hard. And every really difficult and challenging step that I do and work on yields about this much results. When I look on, though, the years that I've kind of given up and just kind of relaxed into, oh, well, I guess I'm just depressed, nothing I can do about it, and victimhood, and just laying around just like being depressed, that I gave ground to that energy. And now I'm not only working on gaining ground through that energy, but now that I feel like I've popped up through the earth and reached level, now I've got to gain ground on working my way up through the vibrations into joy and bliss and happiness and love in what I believe in. And it's been harder than I thought. So I never gave up. And that was the catalyst. I never gave up, even when I felt like I should. So I'm going to just check in. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you guys. I liked what Stephanie's saying. You are you. It's true. You are you. I want to know what you guys think about where you're at and how hard you've tried and whether or not you feel like giving up, because I want to reach the people out there who are on the verge of giving up. I want to call out to you in a really, really extreme and powerful way to say, now is not the time to give up. The moment you feel like giving up, is the moment you push that much more. And if you do that, I promise the results are right around the corner. Don't give up. But this is why I want to do this show this night, because so much of us are on the verge of that. And it's understandable. When you work really hard and you try everything everybody else says, just do this, just do that. Believe me, if you've been in serious depression, like clinical depression, like your whole body is down and vibrating low and your mind is hopeless and you've given up on everything, when you're in that kind of depression, getting out of it is really, really difficult. So for you to take all of the steps that people are suggesting, one little day at a time, call someone, take responsibility. Like I've even said, take responsibility, ask for help, right? So you ask for help, then people come along and they go, oh, just do this, just do that. You try it and try it and try it and try it, and you're still feeling depressed. I get it. And you're about to give up. Now, I know that this venue is not necessarily about my work as a medium, but I am a medium, and you can find out a lot about that work through my other venues. Go to my Facebook page, Psychic Medium Kelly McClure, or my website, kellymcclurepsychicmedium.com. And I have spoken to people in spirit who gave up, who, decided that their life wasn't worth it, worth the struggle. And they all come back, not all of them, but most of them come back and say, you know what, it wasn't worth it. Suicide doesn't work. We can't get out of this. There's no easy way out. So the only option is then to climb our way out. So let me give you a little bit of a scenario. When I was in my most deepest state, back probably in my mid-30s, I imagined myself literally at the bottom of a well. I've tried everything. No one will help me. No one will rescue me. No one will pull me out. No one is willing to give me the answers that I want to hear. And I literally imagined myself at the bottom of a well, and it was dank and dark and sticky and muddy. And I realized there's no rescue, y'all. There's no rescue. And that really depressed me. And it brought me to a place of surrender. So when I say don't give up, it's not the same thing as surrender. Not giving up is letting go of hope, letting go of answers, letting go of a possibility. Surrender is admitting that you don't have the answers. You don't know how to get out of it. But it's not saying there isn't an answer. Somebody knows. Higher truth knows. Elevation knows. Spirit knows. Somebody knows. So when I was at the bottom of this well, like mucking around in my mind's vision of the metaphor where I was, because honestly, you guys, at that time, I was getting ready to seriously give up, like really believe there was no option for me on earth. And I heard a little voice, and it said, do you really believe that God, whatever you imagine that to be, whatever in your mind's eye God is, to me, it's a higher elevation of spirit, even my own, a higher self. Some people imagine it to be the man with the beard on the cloud. Some people just say, okay, well, it's just universal force, or it's higher consciousness, or whatever. If you believe there's something higher than you and greater than you who loves you, who imagines that you can do more, if you can imagine there's something greater than yourself, than the self of you that's at the bottom of the well, even if it's your higher self, even if it's just you, but a higher consciousness of self, a happier self. If you can imagine that much, There is something else in you. So what I did when I was at the bottom of the well is I imagined, like, what happened? What did I think happened? Like, God dropped me off this planet and said, yeah, I know you're screwed, and too bad, I'm out of here. But at the core of my being, I didn't believe that was even possible. So I thought, okay, if that's not possible, that means there might be a higher self, there might be a higher consciousness, and that can help me out of this, because clearly I can't do it myself. And what would it say? And I heard, just go to the edge of the well, like literally the edge of the well where the walls were. And I crawled myself through in my mind's eye through the mud to the wall. And I felt a rung, like one little metal rung. And I grabbed onto it. Now I heard, just reach up for the next rung. And I grabbed onto it. And it was so hard, you guys. It was so hard to just reach up for the next thing. The other analogy I can say to you is that at one time in my 30s, I was so depressed that I was in bed for 3 days, couldn't move, couldn't get out of bed, knew I needed to make money. Couldn't. I couldn't move. I was literally paralyzed by fear and depression. And I prayed to whatever. I don't care what you want to pray to. I mean, I don't care if you're an atheist or agnostic. To be humble about the fact that there might be a collective consciousness greater than ourselves is powerful. And at that moment, I just prayed, what do I do? And I heard a little voice say, just pull back the covers and I'll do the rest. So I did. And I'm laying there going like, what now? And I heard, just slide your foot to the ground and I'll do the rest. So I slid my foot. Just slide your next foot to the ground. I'll do the rest. Then I heard, just stand up and I'll do. Next thing I knew, I was in the shower, taking a shower, drying myself off, and getting dressed. And my brain started to shift. So there's a spiritual principle that says we cannot think our way into healthy living. We have to live our way into healthy thinking. And it takes one tiny step at a time. And this is what I mean by don't give up. It's not that someone's going to come and rescue and pull you out of the depths of hell. It's that you're going to have the ability and the foresight and the willingness to take one tiny, tiny effort, one tiny little thing that will make a difference in that day. And if all you do is one a day and it takes a whole year, well, then that's what it takes. But don't give up. A couple of weeks ago, I wanted to give up. As some of you know, I've been in a huge depression. It's been going on 3 years. It's been getting worse and worse and worse. And a few weeks ago, I decided to change my environment, go stay at my niece's house. And we started working on a couple of things like maybe changing our food a little bit, or praying a little bit together in the morning, or, going to support groups online, stuff like that. And I remember reading in one of my books, one of my positive thinking books, it said enthusiasm for the day, and I thought, well, truth is, I don't feel enthusiastic about today. I just don't. And I can't pretend that I do. And I just admitted that. And I just was like, okay, I hope that I can have enthusiasm again, but today I don't feel it. The next morning I woke up and I was due to film a cooking show, which you guys will see in a couple of weeks. And by God, I had some enthusiasm. I felt like, well, this is going to be kind of fun. And that was the lift. That was the moment I realized, do you know what? I went from having hope to maybe some enthusiasm. So There's a really cool emotional chart online. One of the resources of it is Abraham Hicks. They call it the emotional guidance system. If you Google that, you're going to see that there is a chart of emotional uplifting that is kind of cool. Um, it's kind of it makes sense. So you go from fear to love, but you go through all of these uplifting. If you don't give up, no matter what, I think what happens is that we think we work really hard. I've taken all these steps. I'm exhausted. And I just want to be better tomorrow. And then tomorrow ugh, you feel where you left off. You don't necessarily feel better, but you feel where you left off. But what you don't realize is that during the day, you actually gain ground. So the next day, you go, okay, I'm still here, but I'm going to work really hard, and then you're here. And then next morning, you wake up where you left off. When we sleep, we pause our progress, either way, downward and upward, we pause it. And our brain can process stuff, and we wake up at least where we left off. So we have the option each day to gain a little ground if we continue to work on it and not give up, y'all. Don't give up. So also know that I'm going to check in with my live viewers. Some of you aren't live, but just know I'm not talking to myself. I'm looking in. So Kate says, hello, I'm in New York. She has a 4-year-old, 7-month-old, trying to keep positive and not slip into a spiral. That's really hard. I get it. It's a struggle to keep up, especially when you're surrounded with panic, negativity, and anger, which really all of us are right now in our state. How do you keep pushing on? Every night when you go to sleep, ask whatever it is you believe in, whether it's you believe in that somewhere inside of you is an even higher source of wisdom and protection and love, and just ask it. I remember so many times, you guys, in my life, even when I was in high vibration, before COVID, before fires are killing half the country, before the global pandemic and conflict that we see now in our lives. At the time, it was going pretty cool, but I was in a different country. I was in a completely different country, and I did not know where my next meal was coming from. My next place of living kind of lived out of a suitcase for like a year. I didn't know where I was going next. How did I keep pushing on? Because I was in a high vibration, I just knew. I knew that my next meal would be there. I did not go one day without a warm bed, hot meal, and friendship. Not one day. And I was living out of a suitcase. I didn't know where I would sleep from night to night. I mean, that's pure faith. And I get that's easier to do when you're in a space of love and joy and bliss and feeling like it's easy. But you can also do it when you're not. If you trust that somewhere out there, somehow, there is a state of being that has your back. Tanya says, oh, thank you, Tanya, for, can we mark Denise's as well? Mm-hmm. She goes, it is a struggle and stay positive. I'm in a remission from cancer now 4 years later, and now getting tested of cervical cancer. So, Tanya, thank you for staying positive. You already beat it once. If you can have in your mind, no problem. You can beat it again. And we're all sending you love and light. And let's just send love and light to those cells of the body that are experiencing what people are diagnosing as cancer. Denise, When I sleep, I have really bad dreams a lot of the time, wishing there was a way to stop those dreams, overthinking stress during the day. Would it be nice to get a break at night? Well, Denise, don't you see the connection? You stress during the day, and therefore your consciousness acts up at night. It's your consciousness. Dreams are not actually something that's put upon us most of the time. Sometimes loved ones can come visit us, or there's a message spiritually, but really, dreams are an extension of our already psychological context. So you're saying you overthink and stress during the day, that you want to break at night, but that's when your brain is processing what you're choosing to do over the day. Here's what I would suggest, and I've done this in my own wellness, and there's two sides of this, you guys, that I really want you to hear. One is that I'm not downplaying depression and anxiety. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying that you don't experience it. You do. I get it. And what I want you to hear is that there is nothing outside of you. There is no source. There may be a trigger. There may be an event that caused trauma, but there is no source outside of you that is currently putting stress, anxiety, depression, and unwellness into you. It is yours. Don't blame yourself for it. You have plenty of reason for it. You have your background, you have your history, you have your trauma, you have your parents. I get it. That was put upon you, and now you have these ailments, but they are yours. There is currently no thing in the sky, no God, no entity outside of you that is giving you this ailment. When you have, overthinking, overanalyzing, stress, pressure, depression put upon you through the day, you're the one receiving the information and interpreting it as that. Someone tells you, it's really funny because if you get two people, someone walks up to them. I'll give you a perfect example. A long time ago, I was living with a roommate of mine, and I went to 7-Eleven, and a guy flipped me off. Some guy in a car. I have no idea who he was. I didn't know him. He flipped me off, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I go home. I'm still in a good mood. She goes to the store. She gets flipped off. She comes home in a bad mood. I'm like, hey, man, what's wrong? What are you upset about? And she goes, somebody flipped me off. And I'm like, and? She goes, who are they to flip me off? Blah, blah, blah. She got wrapped up in it. And I said, yeah, yesterday somebody flipped me off too, but you don't have to get wrapped up in it. And she said, are you telling me that you can go out in public and if somebody flips you off, that it doesn't affect you? And I go, yeah, because that's their finger, their thoughts, their anger, their intention, their body, their decision, their behavior. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. And I get it that it's really hard to imagine that with everybody. When they're your family, they're your mother, they're your father, they're your friends, they're your lover. I get it, but it's true. Their behavior has nothing to do with you. So it cannot affect your day until you attach to it. So if you're having stress throughout the day, then what are you stressing over and how are you attaching to it? Your dreams that are coming up with those scenarios are trying to help you detach. They're trying to help you clear and complete that energy so you can wake up the next day without it. So of course you're going to have bad dreams. You're going to have bad dreams when you attach to energy that doesn't belong to you. And when you attach to energy that cannot affect you unless you let it, then you will have bad dreams. You'll have bad dreams when you have guilt or remorse of something that you haven't taken responsibility for. You have bad dreams when you have fear that somebody can hurt you or attack you or harm you in a way that isn't true. There's very little truth to attack. Uh, I won't say who, but I have a person in my life who's scared every night when she locks her door that someone's going to break in. This has been going on for years. So think about it. Let's say she did have a break in 8 years ago. 8 years, one break in. And it's been 8 years, 365 days times 8, whatever that is. Don't ask me to do math. She had one in 365 times 8, and she's still scared. To me, that would be like the odds are in the realm of safety, not fear, right? But we hold on to these things and we have to let them go to get out of this depression. Okay.
I'm going to put it, Debbie, but I want you to, it's the end of her message.
Okay.
It's important. She just needs some love.
All right. So let's talk to Debbie. Okay. Hi from Canada. Bless you.
She can go back to episode 1 and watch.
Okay. So Debbie asked why the depression. I talked about that in episodes 1 and 2 and probably 3. COVID's only a part of it. It only expands my concern for the planet, but it's not my personal depression. And the cause and cure for depression are different. The cure, I believe, is, I know a lot of people go to doctors for cures, but I believe that it has to relate to healing. And you feel like giving up. Okay, here's where we want to go, Debbie. And you are the reason I'm here tonight. You're the reason I did this show. You have no family. You feel like you have no close ones to help you. I want to cry right now because the truth is, Debbie, I have tons of family and tons of friends, and I still feel alone. I feel alone because the depression that I've been going through is so deep and so outside of my character. It's so beyond what I've ever experienced and share with the world that my friends and family probably love me and would accept anything that I shared with him, but can they truly understand why someone like me, who they see as somebody who's vivacious and gregarious and friendly and loving, could experience something so deep and dark that I would feel completely alone? It's not their burden to share. So I'm reaching out to you guys because it's not the burden of my family and friends to fix this. But I will tell you this, I get it. I get it amongst a room full of people that you could feel absolutely alone and completely by yourself in this depression. I fully get it. How do you do it? I want you to go back and watch the first few episodes. I want you also to hold this one tiny thought. And the one thought is that whether I have a lot of family or friends, and whether you do or not, there are 7.5 billion people on this planet. Somebody is going to relate to you. And when we feel depressed and isolated, it's hard for us to imagine that someone out there could not only relate to us, but help us. But 7.5 billion people, it's a lot. You're not alone. Email me. Become a part of our group. I have a feeling that a lot of the people that feel alone and isolated and depressed right now, it's because they don't have a lot of people who understand them. Maybe you have a lot of people you're involved with, a lot of people who love you, but to be understood 100%, that's hard. And we're all individuals, we're all unique, but I'm extending to you my absolute love and understanding. And if you want to know how to get out of that hole, that's what we've been talking about the last few weeks. Go back and watch the other episodes, and please do check out our podcast, our Cal's Angels Facebook page. Check out our community. We're not about a group. We're not a cult. We're just a lot of people reaching out to find a connection of support and love. And you can get through this. I swear to you, if I can do it, you can do it. There's been so many times in my life where I wanted to give up. Don't give up. Most of us are really advanced souls. I mean, we're special, gifted people who are here for a reason because we love humanity and want to help them. So don't give up. And I'll be here for you. And thank you so much for reaching out. Tanya, can we put hers up? Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Stephanie. Tanya says, Kelly, sometimes it helps talking to a total stranger. It does, because they have no investment in judging you. Tanya says, if anyone wants to talk, you can message her. Thank you, Tanya, so much for being just an open arms of support and love. That's amazing. I love you too, Angie. My friend Angie just messaged me, so I'm happy to hear she's watching. I love you too. Diana, thank you too. So, listen, this is nitty gritty and it is real. And these first few episodes of our show, I did want to be real with you guys, and I did want to, come out of this together and reach out to the people who feel hopeless and helpless and like they're alone. Because I'm surrounded by people who love me, families and friends, and still sometimes feel completely alone. And all of my friends and family tell me to reach out to them, and sometimes I just can't. And I just need to let you guys know that I get that feeling. I get it. I understand. And if you're feeling that way and you're feeling like you're completely alone and have no one to reach out for, even though other people are telling you, I get it. So let's do it together and let's be a support for each other. And that's why I wanted to do it raw and real and in front of you as I go along. When I first started this journey with you guys, I was at pretty much the lowest depths, like here. And like, if this is wellness and bliss and joy, I'm like about right here. But I'm higher than I was, and I'm getting there, and I want you guys to too. So let's see if I wanted to cover everything. Sorry, I'm getting super emotional. But let's see if I wanted to cover everything. Don't give up, even if you want to. Know that giving up. Now, I know this particular show is not about me being a psychic medium, but I am. And there's many venues you can join to learn more about that. But one of the spirits that I connected with told me suicide doesn't work. He gave up. He committed suicide. He woke up still depressed. His life was gone. His family was gone. His problems were gone. He was still depressed. And that's when I realized this is a really great opportunity on earth to do what we came here to do. So if you give up to that level, then go away. You have to do it eventually. And the best way to do it is to really be honest with yourself and be really aware of your feelings. I had a brilliant counselor tell me feelings aren't right or wrong. They're just feelings. They just are. They're real and they exist. They're not right or wrong. So don't judge them, just process them. Be humble and ask yourself, how can I get help? I don't have all the answers. I don't have all of the answers. If you're logging on to find answers through me, know that that's my answer. I don't have them all. We can all get help. And it doesn't do any good unless we accept the help and work through the help. And you can get through all the help you need through connections with others. The other thing is being persistent and never giving up. So let me tell you one last story, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I used to belong to a church that we had Wednesday night service, and I used to do like sermons. And so did a friend of mine, and we changed off. And she did this beautiful sermon one night that I'll never forget. And I didn't do it. She did it. And it was about the difference between persistence and asking for help, surrender. So I'll talk about those two principles. Discipline. And she saw these news shows on the television. They were real. They were news stories about two different animals, the elephant and the bear. And the elephant, I'll say first, because when you do know what to do, even if you're depressed, even if you have an idea or inkling or somebody gave you a good suggestion about what to do, if you do it with everything you have, if you persist in doing that with all you've got, that's the story of the elephant. So there was this news story about a little elephant who was born with crooked legs. His front knees were bent. And he walked and walked and walked, but he walked on his knees and he couldn't quite keep up with the herd. But this little elephant knew that if he didn't persist in trying to straighten his legs out, he would die, because eventually the herd would move on. And the documentary showed the herd moving on. And then the little baby elephant called out, and mommy came back, and the little baby elephant tried and tried and tried for 3 days to walk and walk and walk. And all of a sudden one day his legs straightened out, because laws of physics say form follows function. So the more you do, the more you get. So his legs straightened out and he was able to keep up the herd. Now he knew what to do, and he persisted with everything he had, because he knew he would die if he didn't. The story of the bear was also a true news story about a bear who fell under a bridge. And he was on this platform under a bridge in some town, I don't know, but it was a beautiful background. So I'm imagining up north where I want to live. And this bear couldn't get off the bridge because he was on a platform way too high to jump or climb or whatever. And he didn't know what to do. He couldn't get off the bridge. So what did the bear do? He lay down and slept. He took a nap. And while he was sleeping, the authorities came and they figured out that they're going to put a net under the platform where the bear was. And when he woke up, they would dart him as he was walking toward the edge so that he would fall into the net. And he fell into the net asleep, and they lowered the net to the ground and waited for him to wake up. And when he woke up, he just walked off the net. So when you don't know what to do, take a nap. Rest, relax, and let the universe work on your behalf. If you know what to do, never give up. Do it with all your persistence. If you don't know what to do, never give up. Take a nap and let the universe work on your behalf.
Can I make Kate's question?
Pardon me?
You address Kate's question?
Yeah.
I just.
Okay, so we have a question from Kate. Is there something someone on the outside that can say or do to help with suspected depression of a loved one? Someone who you see as symptoms but doesn't seem to recognize. Kate, here's what I would do. instead of trying to fix them, reach out to support groups for you. They have Al-Anon. Depression is a family problem, not just an individual problem. So reach out to groups that can help you support them. You can't fix them. You can't make them go to therapy, but there are ways to approach their illness that most supports you and makes you well and still might give guidance to them. The saddest thing that I ever want to say to anybody is, you know what? You can't fix them. I have a sister who's struggling. A sister who died, a brother who's struggling. My mom died. She never would listen to a word I said. I have so many family members who I felt like, if they would just listen to me, I could help them. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of your emotional state about them. If you're sad about what they're going through, process sadness. Get into a group that, like Al-Anon, that is about the family members of depressed people or things that are going on with them. You can't fix them. They're on their own journey. And here's one of the most beautiful things I ever heard a spiritual person say is, your loved ones got the same God you do. There is no grandchildren. God has no grandchildren. So you are not in charge of their journey. God is, or universe is, or whatever you believe in. They are in charge of their journey. And if you give them the credit and the mindset that they have everything within them to overcome this challenge, it's really ego-y to think that we are better off than them and that we have the power more than they. They have all the power. So let go of ego. Just say, okay, they're on their journey. I'm going to send love and light. I'm here when they need them. I'm here to offer, love and advice, but they have their journey and they have everything within them to learn their journey just like you. You're equals here. You're not better than them trying to save them. That won't work. Why? Because it's not true. You're not better than them. We're equals here. They're on their journey. So the best you can do is love and support yourself on this journey. If you're if you're an enabler, a bystander, a family member who's struggling with someone else's illness, you need help. That is horrible. That is an illness. That is something that needs support. Maybe you can't fix them. Maybe you can't save them, but you can save yourself and you can lend them support. And inevitably, what happens when you do that is they become well too. It's like the law of the universe that says you don't get what you want till you don't need it anymore. The minute you let go of needing to fix them, they somehow become fixed. So concentrate on you, find the support groups that will help you, and send them love and light and detach. Believe me, I come from a completely dysfunctional family, and I've never been able to fix any of them until I got help. So thank you for that question. Yeah. Yep. Sending love. Thank you so much, Katie. Brandy, thank you for saying that. She's amazed with the timing. I hope so, because even though there's a few of us online right now, and I hope that we can share our stories broader and broader, I really just wanted to be real about what's going on with me today. And this is it. And I'm crawling out of a hole, a deep, dark hole that I've been in and getting into for 3 years and 3 years plus. And it's been hard. It's not easy. Even when I declare it's easy, even when I go like, okay, I get it. I'm ready. Little by little, we get there every day. Thank you guys so much for letting me share that. Okay. Anybody else? Questions? I want to just really appreciate you being here tonight. We are living through times that very few people have ever lived through. I mean, The apocalypse practically is going on right now, and I just want to say that these are hard times to try to imagine living a charmed life, and we're going to continue to do it and build it every day. Thank you so much for being here for me today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being yourselves. Thank you for taking it in, and just be a charming, lovely person on this charming, lovely world in this charming, lovely day today. Thank you so much. Have a good night.